Welcome to NGIT Math Podcast today. My name is Tao Ling, and I'll try to explain to you how to find least common denominators for two rational expressions. So here is an example. We have x plus 2 divided by the denominator, and then the other pair is 3x plus 7 divided by its denominator. So now the first thing you have to make sure is the denominators are completely factored. In this case, it's completely factored. Okay. 4x squared x plus 2 cubed is also completely factored. So now we have to find the least the least common factor. So you do this by finding the least common factor for each term. Okay. So what do we have here? So so first of all, you want to look at constants. So you for the first rational expression, the denominators are multiplied by a constant of 1. So it's really only just multiplied by 1. But the second expression are multiplied by 4. So you have to find the least common factors between 1 and 4. Okay, so that should be 4. Now we have to look at expressions with the same terms, that the only difference is the power. Okay, so with the same base except the powers are different. So we have to look at x and x squared. Okay. Now we choose, when you see two expressions like this, the lowest common denominator is usually the one with the higher degree. Okay, so in this case, the one with higher degree is x squared. Now another same base is x minus 1 squared for the first expression. But in the second expression, there's no x minus 1 squared. So that means the least common denominator is simply x minus 1 squared. Because you can also think of it as the least common denominator between x minus 1 squared and 1. Okay, so that is x minus 1 squared. So and the other one is x plus 2, the same base, and x plus 2 cubed. You choose the higher power 1 to be the least common denominator. And the final answer for the least common denominator is a product of all the least common denominators. So it's 4x squared, x minus 1 squared, x plus 2 cubed. Okay? So let's review that. So the first step is to make sure it's completely factored. The denominators are completely factored. Okay. The second step is you find the least common factor of each base. Okay, of each base. So find least common denominator for each base. And usually you pick the higher power as the LCD. Okay, pick the higher power. The only special case is when you deal with numbers. You have to find the least common factor for the numbers. Okay. Now, least common multiples for the numbers. So the last one is multiply all LCDs to get your final LCD. Okay. Now let's look at another example. multiply by. Okay, well, not multiply by. So those are two rational expressions, and you have to find their least common denominator. So those are the denominators: x squared minus x minus 6 and x squared minus 9. So first, let's look at x squared minus x minus 6. We have to make sure it's completely factored, and however, this is not completely factored. So this should equal to, let's factor it. It's x plus 2, x minus 3. Okay, so that's the factored result. We also have to factor x squared minus 9, which is equal to x plus 3 and x minus 3. Okay, because this is a square difference. Now we have to find the least common denominator of these two. Okay, so now let's look at x plus 2. So we picked each basis and then find its least common factor. So x plus 2 from the first expression, and the second expression you don't have anything, so let's just write 1. This gives us the least common denominator is x plus 2. Now we have x minus 3 and x minus 3 in both expressions, right? So I write that out. Oh, like x minus 3. X minus 3. So the least common denominator for x minus 3 is x minus 3, okay? Because you pick the higher power, and then the higher power is just itself. The last one is x plus 3. In the first expression you have no x plus 3, and in the second denominator you have x plus 3. And this means that the least common denominator is x plus 3. Okay? So the final answer will be the product of all those least common denominators. So it's x plus 2, x minus 3, and x plus 3. That will be the least common denominator for both expressions. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your study.